No, 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 no. Live long and prosper. How are you, Mr. Michael?
Hold on.
What's that,
It's
buddy?
setting it up. It's
We
still
need.
setting it up.
Oh, okay, cool. Set away, man.
Hey, William, and welcome everyone to YouTube Live with William.
And
We
Mike.
welcome you to, thank you. We welcome you to type in any of your questions as we go through. And we wanted to announce that William on the first released a new podcast called New Openings in 2024. That's um,
Mhm.
The Relevance of Now with William Linville is the name of the podcast. And also on YouTube, there's an excerpt from a recent interview that William did called Celebrating You Within New Openings in 2024 that you can access after this event. So there's a number of things. And William, uh, for any of you that don't know, offers one-on-one private appointments. You can go to his website and under the tab Work with William, you'll be able to click on how to schedule one-on-one appointments with Will. And this is really an opportunity to dive in deep into what's going on for you, what you're looking for resolution with, and assisting you in running forth with more ease and grace.
And thank you for mentioning that, Michael, because I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, but I do want to clarify what that means, working one-on-one, because there's a lot of misperceptions that float around. Like, okay, he can help you with blah, 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 your life, business, talk about your partner, what's going on, your relationship, on and on. Or he could talk about what your body's asking for, or he can assist you with your emotional blockages or what's getting in your way of welcoming in a relationship, or, working with your higher levels, your creative levels, your manifest levels, and starting to create your exponential world. But that's barely scratching the surface of what we assist with. It goes with rebuilding the body, reactivating the DNA, the RNA, re-embodying you as your higher levels, working in your Akashic record realms, clearing out all the debris within your mind, body, and aura on all four levels, all dimensions, every cell of your body, all memory of it now, working with the mental, physical, emotional, even from psychosis to mental health issues. Because, it's kind of interesting what mental health issues are. It's when the mind's not single-minded. It's when the conscious mind is saying one thing, the subpsyche is saying a different thing, and you're having two totally split states. That's why in your physical manifestation realms, you're putting this out there with totally backwards results. And then going from there with the rebuilding, re-energizing, healing up the body and clearing out the body, which is also regenerating the body, and then going into your manifestational world, and then going through clearing out all the old, let's just call it karmic debris, the Akashic record realms of all the soul journey or facets and aspects of yourself that have still been affecting your current life stream. Then getting into the marriage of your higher levels and lower levels. And we work with a lot of businesses with going through the businesses, looking at tuning into what's getting in the way, what's blocking it, or sometimes whom or what attitudes, lack of gratitudes, and things like that are getting in the way, that are holding you down. And then your own fears that you're doing everything, going through this, going through that, putting it out there, blah, blah, blah. But back here, you still have that split level of consciousness that's really afraid of success, but it's also just as afraid of failure. So you're right there in a stagnated state, freezing yourself, and then be afraid of being exposed, afraid of being burned at the stake, afraid of blah, 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 blah. Then say more money, show me the money. But you're in your subpsyche and these other parts of you saying money is evil and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, of course, you're spit on the hamster wheel, but there's all these split states. There's no end of what, when, where, and how we can dance together, play together, and get things moving, assisting, embodying, expanding all the way to your family monad, working with you, assisting you to be a better parent, a guide, a facilitator, conduit, even if you're a janitor or work at a car wash. It has nothing to do with what everything you do is just what you do. It has nothing to do with with who you are, because it doesn't matter if you're the CEO, the president, prime minister, or you're learning how to scrub a toilet. To me, it's all the same. It's who you are that's working wherever you're working, doing whatever you're doing, but how to pristinely amplify and go beyond it with more and more ebb and flow and ease and grace for your highest and best good and the highest and best good of all concerned. And so,
Uh,
and so much more, because there's no end to how far you can go, but also how much you get to play with. It's your natural birthright to enjoy all of creation in optimum health and well-being and homeostasis beyond genetics. Okay, Mr. Mug, I just want to throw that in and then going beyond Reiki energy, going beyond universal life force energy to where you're playing with a higher vibratory level of energy and consciousness and letting it run through your body and then emanating exponentially that are playing with higher, beyond fourth dimension, fifth dimension, going direct with your creator consciousness now to emanate and let that energy run through you when you're facilitating and not being limited to one modality or another. They're all tools to wake up to who you are, but now let's be who you are, become who you are. Now emanate, radiate, amplify more through you as you, and watch what happens for you. All right, buddy?
Thank you, William.
Hey, you too, man.
We have one
Like,
question that was typed in advance, and it's from Texas. William, you have said our vibratory increases are inevitable. What does this mean for our 38 trillion cells of our body complex?
It's simple. Let's say we all sit here and never move a muscle in our body again. The planet is going through so many planetary evolvements, accelerations, the old energy, sex, power, greed, the domination, control, manipulation, all these old structures. That's what you're watching in waves come up, be exposed, and collapse. So what's happening there, the consciousness of the planet is opening up, speeding up to bring up all these dense layers of consciousness, is bringing it up to be seen, dissolved, resolved. Because the planet itself, as a deity, but also as a vibratory structure, is speeding up, and where even in space, where it's connected magnetically to the rest of the other planets, solar systems, Milky Ways, and on, it's speeding up to where if we never move a muscle again, you can start to feel the planet underneath your feet accelerating in vibrational frequencies, but in megahertz of light. Then via that, you're also aware and feeling. And I'm using this as an example. To me, it doesn't matter if you're asleep or as blind as a bat. It doesn't matter where you're at on your journey. It's happening for everyone. So now, universally, yeah, you're watching the magnetics of the planets becoming more amplified, almost like the appearance of growing, expanding to where the platelets are shifting. But universally, all the magnetics and magnetic streams that are connecting all the planets in a certain formation is now also extending, going through a light state, shake-up state, to where even that density of it, because from an overview, it looks kind of like an atom that's waking up and turning back on. Well, that's even cracking open, speeding up more and more. So now you're also feeling the lunar levels, the solar levels. You're feeling the other side of Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, the Venusians, Pluto, on in Uranus, Mars, the moon, and all these other shifts that are also, the lights are being turned on, they're being activated, now being exposed more and more planets. It's not that they're just moving into the galaxy, it's that the veils are being lifted to more and more accessibility. It is because the vibratory levels of all of it, the veils are lifting, or let's just say they're dissolving, due to the influx of light, beingness, the influx of consciousness and vibratory levels that are collapsing the density so quickly to where now, even in your body, because your body has pretty much the same, that's why I'm using the example of it looks like an atom, because the atom of the whole universe and beyond is activating the very physical atoms in your body, the molecular structure, the subatomic structure, the atomic structure, to where, yeah, you're feeling it. Like I can tell it's a full moon because I could feel the pressure through my crown opening up like a football field, if not larger. Now, yeah, you feel it, you're aware of it, but now it's becoming more centered through your whole central column because you're going through activations, then the whole universe is going through activations, the universe is going further and further, then it's like a slingshot propelling you forth, then you're going faster, faster, further, further. Now, it's not about linear, it's more about upwardly in vibrational frequencies of megahertz of light, to where now you're going to plateau, you're going to integrate, the universe is going to speed up again, and then you're going to slingshot again, accelerating, accelerating. And this is what I mean by a dance. And it's happening. I mean, even if you never leave your sofa, it's happening anyways.
Right. And in the stance, for those that choose to stay almost sitting it like they are just sitting in a chair,
Yeah.
Do they just become more angry and irritated, and or what goes on for them?
It's very unique in some, because you got to remember, as everything starts vibrating faster and faster, let's use entities, energies, let's use heavier, denser particles of like clusters of thought from the mass collective that are perceivably heavier and more negative charged, judgmentally based. Now, yes, as the vibratory levels are increasing and increasing, one or two things are going to happen for the person on the sofa, depending on what they're identified with, or even not identified. If they are embodying fear, which all of it fits in the umbrella of fear. So let's say anger, guilt, frustration, irritability, overwhelming burden, victimization hood, like they identify with being a victim, like everything, including the rain, is all because of them and it's all their fault and blah, blah, blah. Yes, their body is going to go like this rather than expanding. At first, it's going to suck and go as deep as it can. All this buildup is going to come right to the surface, right to the forefront, right through the system, all the organs, all the chakra vortexes, especially right here in front of the pineal and pituitary gland. For your eyes opened or closed, it's going to be like streams of thoughts and memories. Memories, it's not about past linear, it's about dimensionally. All these areas where you're still reliving, where you became fragmented as a soul, still in those situations, hiding under the bed or being held down against your will, even this incarnation, you're still stuck there. And those areas are going to become revealed until eventually you're going to hold on, fight anything that's different. But it's still going to collapse. Poof. Now you can hold on as tightly as you can hold on, but it's still going to collapse. Now, some, and this happens a lot right now. I mean, it's not exactly age identified, like elderly or whatever, but many are trying to hold on so tightly to keep things in as an old way. But those old ways aren't working, they're collapsing. So they're holding, and they're going down with their own ship of trying to hold on so tightly to where now their veins, venules, beyond just caffeine and all that, they're squeezing and squeezing until eventually their body has a symptomology of a stroke or a heart attack, cardiac arrest. And that goes deeper than just physical symptomologies. It goes to the soul level, and then from the soul level, communicating with the rest of themselves as creator, expressing through carnate, but says, okay, you know what? Hey, we're just not getting it this time. So why don't we drop the body at this time? And I want to be clear. Many get afraid of this because they perceive, especially those with a lot of control issues, they perceive like this is all going to happen and they're not going to have a say so in it. Well, that's just not true. It's a flat out lie. It's always comes to your cognitive mind where you have that point of decision. Am I ready to step out and wash my hands of it and wrap it up as a bad project? Or am I willing to say enough is enough, let go, and flow into a new river, going through the whole reincarnational principle, but without dropping the body into a new beginning? All of this is very right here and conscious. No one's leaving the planet by default.
Right. Thank
For
you.
all those with control issues. No fear, man. But you see, they leave the planet. That's what the whole COVID thing, the times where everyone and their brothers and dogs and cats or whatever have the symptomology of cancer or whatever. Even those that are in a comatose state, that they're still in that state of in between, deciding for themselves if they wish to drop the body and make a transition and pick up the body of an indigo crystalline offspring, or a rainbow offspring, or come back cognitively to their current structure and come in with more of a new beginning now, looking at things clearly for what they are rather than all being all worked up by the memory banks in an old way.
Thank you, William. We have a question from Miss Circa. I'd love to hear any key messages from my guides that will propel me forward in 2024, whatever I most need to hear.
That's more of a one-on-one kind of question, Mike.
Okay. This is from Diddy. I think I have the fears you mentioned, afraid of both success and failure. How do we release them?
Well, when you look at success for yourself, let's skip the whole world. Let's take a breath. Take a breath, sit back, close your eyes, focus your eyes towards your third eye. Bring your consciousness right here, right now. Just put your hands on your heart. One on your heart, one on your solar plexus. And let's ask yourself right now. For yourself, no one else, nothing else. For yourself, what does success mean to you? For you, not your parents, not your partnerships, relationships, but for yourself, right here, right now. With no one else, as if no one else would ever know about it nor hear about it. Just for you and you alone right now. Success. What does that mean to you and for you? Now, right now, success, I would hope, about true success would mean that you are feeling more love, that you're letting yourself feel more love, feel and experience more lightness, experience yourself becoming larger, more lively, brighter, lighter, more giving yourself the permission to express, explore. No longer any belief systems, no longer any boxes that you try to fit into for the sake of others or for the sake of societies. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with prestige. It has nothing to do with titles, costumes, but right here, right now. It has to do with the size of your heart growing. I mean, all the rest, yeah, they're all achievements. They're all beauty. They're all brilliant. Please enjoy it like it's no one else's business. But if we're going to look at and feel true success, it's opening, emanating, and receiving more and more love, more and more of yourself. Now, the fear of failure. This is interesting, right? Because if we chalk down success, it's called for yourself personally, it's receiving approval from everyone else and everything else. And but then it's a double-edged sword because now we also are in a position to take on more responsibility, which means now we're back underneath the guillotine waiting to be judged. Now your fear of failure goes to the fear of being judged. So from here, whom right here, right now, as we step back, close our eyes, focus our eyes towards our third eye, one hand on the heart, one hand on the solar plexus, on your diaphragm and your heart. Now, let's just take a nice slow deep breath in through your nose, all the way down to below your navel. So inhale for 12, hold for 12, and now exhaling as slow as you can for the count of 12. Now, let's ask yourself, what is scary with me right here, right now, with only myself, no one else, nothing else, no onlookers, no judges, no courtrooms. Right here, right now, for myself, what does failure actually mean? For yourself, where no one else is involved. Does it mean just not putting your heart into something? Does it mean not following through? Or does it just simplistically mean not living up to others' expectations, fitting in and blending in with everyone else, how they perceive that you should be, how you should be, when you should be, in their invisible boxes that they put around you because of their comfort zones that they put you in for their comfort, not even about you. That's about their comfort and their expectations for you to bring them comfort. It becomes so confusing, doesn't it? So right now, let's just step back into you. And I would say failure would be to close yourself off from letting yourself receive love, be love, as love, and becoming in that tiny little pit of judgment versus judgment. So you judging them because they're judging you, which is now we're just going into locking horns, and then whose judgment is bigger? Your internalized judgment or their judgment towards you, or your judgment towards them, so they can't hurt you. They're all survival mechanisms. So right now, let's give ourselves permission. A nice deep sigh just to not have to survive. Living's a choice and survival's a choice. Living equals what I would call success. Be love, receive love, as love. That's your natural birthright. Now, the love that matters to me when it's all said and done is the love of the universe. People are fickle because they have egos. I wish it wasn't true. One minute they love you, Next minute, they don't love you. Next minute, I love you, and you're so this, that, and the other. The next minute, what's your name again? Because you just didn't do what they wanted you to do when they wanted you to do, or how they wanted you to do it. You quit being what they thought they wanted you to be, or they got confused and said, well, I want you to be something else now. And you're saying, well, no, I'm gonna be true to myself. So now, okay, I don't like it anymore. I'm gonna go play elsewhere. All right, hey, whatever floats your boat. But does it really have anything to do with you? So if we're going to be honest and fair and be true to ourselves, what about we put our love where it counts? The universe. The universe is unconditional. It's going to love you back. That goes without saying. The part that becomes confusing is when you attempt to love a bipolar ego, which is, pretty much all of humanity, because they rip you a new one if you do something they don't like. Now, that's not a derogatory statement towards humanity. It's dear ones have egos. And it's awesome when dear ones are so willing to overcome, supersede their egos to where we can walk heart to heart, side by side. But unfortunately, dear ones have issues, and many dear ones aren't willing to look at their issues until they get to a point where they don't have any other options. And now it's not to go off and be alone, put your head under a rock. It's to use discernment. Is their judgment towards you the truth of you, or is it just their judgment of you? I get judged constantly, but I know it has nothing to do with me because I know it's not true about me. So, all right, hey, you judge and I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Knock yourself out. It's not going to affect how I feel about myself because it's not about myself. Now, if you look at that clearly within and through yourself for a moment, just take a breath. If you give yourself permission to start living your life as your life, hey, I'm wide open heart. Come on, come all, let's have a blast. But where we're not letting anyone's judgment rent space in your head, your body. It cannot rent space in your heart. It can rent space in your emotions, which is just energy that got clogged up because you judge it or identified and didn't judge it. Has nothing to do with love. Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome, William. Our next question is from Dale Harsey.
Oh, cool. Hey, Dale. Harsey.
Will you talk about Saint Germain and how to work with him?
It's very simple. So all of us right here, right now, first thing I want to do for all of us, let's get rid of all the ideas, rules, polarities, specifications of who does what. Like Raphael's the archangel of healing. Sananda is this, that, and the other. Germain is about alchemy and blah, blah, blah. About money. And let's skip all of that light, throw all that in the fireplace. They all do all the above. Michael's for protection. So is Raphael. So is Germain, Ariel, Uriel. Although they don't really see anything to protect, but they're always there to watch your back. Now, let's just call forth right now for all of us. Take a breath. If it makes it easier for you, just put one hand on your heart, the left hand on the heart, the right hand on the solar plexus. Close your eyes, focus your eyes towards the third eye. Just take a nice, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Inhale for the count of 12, following it all the way down below your navel into the creator chakra level vortex and the pelvic girdle. Hold for the count of 12. Now, have a deep sigh. The deepest sigh, like a primal sigh. Letting all the preoccupations build up, tensions, blocked energy, all the pressure to keep it together and blah, blah, blah. Just letting it all come up, out, and leave. And now let's do it again. Inhale for 12, hold for 12. And now, like you're trying to blow out a tea light candle through your mouth. Exhale as slow as you can for the count of 12. And on this exhale, let's welcome forth beloved Saint Germain. And the violet flame of purification to come forth from about 12 feet beneath your body and about 90 feet in diameter up through your feet, your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees, your upper legs, your pelvic girdle, all the way through your lower tummy, your sacrum, coccyx, lower back, mid-tummy, solar plexus, crater chakra vortex, all the way through the heart chakra vortex, mid-back, sternum, and all the chakras from middle and back, all the way up through your shoulders, your sternum, your throat chakra vortex, upper arms, lower arms, into the chakra vortexes in the palms of the hands, all the way through the throat chakra vortex, through the base of the skull, through the atlas and axis vertebrae, through the back of the brain, the midbrain, frontal lobe of the brain, through the third eye, and through the midbrain, the frontal lobe of the brain, midbrain, back of the brain, through the back of the third eye, up through your crown chakra vortex to about 78 feet above you. And right now, let's just put a dial in front of you and let's just turn up that dial to 986,000 megahertz per second. Let's just take another breath, but this time another deep sigh, just in through the nose, all the way down technically through your upper legs, lower legs, your feet, and then the deep sigh, phew, letting go, let the creator flow right through you and as you. And now let's just sit back, enjoy the show of everything that is coming to mind, all the thoughts, all the perceptions, all the old personas, the memories, the cosmic record effect of them. And now let's just crank it up more and more to 1,972,000 megahertz per second. And now let's turn it into a pyramidal sort of shape, like a prism all around you, just to amplify it that much more. And where you're going into more, you're creating more of a crystalline chamber all around yourself that only amplifies that much more. Let's welcome for Michael Sanada, who's also an alchemist. He's actually the best alchemist so far in the whole universe. From water into wine and on and on and on, just like Germain with silver into gold. It's all quantum physics and alchemy. Now we're playing with the alchemy of the human spirit and the soul, purification even of your Akashic record realms. Now let's just turn it up more to 3,484,000 megahertz per second. Let's let even that flame go now all the way up through the astral planes of consciousness, through the cosmic latticework, and just letting it become now about 798 miles wide. Actually, let's try feet wise. It'll become larger and larger on its own. Let's just let it speed up, speed up. And once again, you're going to feel it all the way through your body, all the way to the point where your skin feels tight. And just take another breath. And on the exhale, let's just realize, okay, well, the skin is not solid like I thought it was. So, okay, body, speed up to where now the skin becomes more and more translucent. It only feels tight temporarily because you've been so identified with it and forgetting that from the cells to the bones to the molecules to the subatomic particles, crystalline structures, that really, depending on how closely you tune into it, it's like each and every molecule is like miles apart. So nothing here is truly solidified, not even the planet for that matter, but to be able to function with the mind, that functions, been conditioned to function linearly and been programmed to function with solidified matter. Now you're just letting it relearn that solidified matter isn't quite real. Or letting it catch up, level by level, dimension by dimension, door by door. And now let's put this hole by the flame at your job, around your home, around your car. Now let's take it further through situations, your family monad, your township, your continent, your province, the planet eventually. But let's go smaller than the planet for a moment. Let's just start to play with it in your day-to-day life. To where it's like flipping on a switch. Okay, I'm going to work. Great. Let's do the highway and the office. Cool. Purifying it, divinitizing. Hey, great. Now let's do the bank accounts. So where it's purified, divinitized, and literally amplified to where, so like with Reiki, there's different symbols. Okay, there's a chokure, but it's not to get stuck there. It just amplifies the energy of things and locks it in. But that's not about Reiki. That's about energy. So right now, when I command the power of the chokure on yourself, I'm not playing with the Reiki energy. I would not do that to you. That's fourth dimensional energy. We're playing with like universal quantum leap and sort of amplified energy to integrate, plateau, then accelerate further. Now, from here, this goes well beyond that fourth dimensional stuff. That's like kindergarten, like less than steroids. That's like still perceiving that Tang is delay's the greatest breakfast drink. It's astronaut food. But from here, where, yeah, we use these tools, then we start new ones like the circle with the line going through it. To me, that is more about affinity and new beginnings. Because affinity, from there, it's you're stepping out of a cycle and you're going direct. That's not like a circle with just a line. That's a circle with a line going up. It's just like a flat circle of gold with a line going up out of it. But if you put it on paper, it looks like a cancellation mark, but it's not. It's going upwards. So these sort of encodements are going to present for you to go further and further with and have it a lot more fun and a blast. So I hope you have an awesome time playing with Germain. He's quite the humorous character. But let's skip and go beyond all the I am stuff. Let's skip all the green books in that. Let's not buy into another religion, metaphysics, spirituality, or otherwise. And unfortunately, it could turn into religion so quickly, but you don't need to give your power away to another methodology. The point is to step into your own beyond the methodologies. Alrighty? Aphrodite?
All right, William. One more question.
Like a tidy? Yeah, go ahead.
This is from Solero 39. I am afraid 2024 will be the same old, same old. I'm having the hardest time having an open heart and mind that I'll be able to transcend things that have been challenging for me for a long time.
Cool. Is there a question, Mike?
Just address, being afraid 2024 is going to be the same old, and, how to break through these, that altogether.
Yeah, let's do yourself a favor right now, everyone. Today is not even close to being the same as yesterday. So right now, with Solero, whatever, let's take a breath. Let's bring yourself right here, right now. So right here, right now, let's just bring yourself point blank, right here, right now, to this moment. It's the only thing that exists. It's right here, right now. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday doesn't exist. 3 o'clock doesn't exist. 4 o'clock doesn't exist. 4:41 doesn't exist. 4:43 does not exist. It's all in your head. Bring yourself right here, right now. Close your eyes. Don't think. That's what's making everything perceivably be the same. Don't think. Feel. Just feel. Put something in the palm of your hand. Just feel. Can you feel the weight of the object? Can you feel your shirt? If you're wearing a watch, can you feel it around the wrist? If you're wearing an earring or a ring, can you feel it around the finger or the ears or the nose or eyebrows or whatever you have pierced? Can you feel the pants or shorts? Can you feel the shoes around your feet? This is how nothing is repetitive nor stays the same. Now, number two, let's do ourselves another favor. Let's quit assuming tomorrow is going to be just like today. Let's quit assuming that the next day, the next week, the next month is going to be just like it is and has been. Because see, what you're doing right now, you're taking yesterday and you're projecting it to tomorrow. Therefore, by default, you're continually recreating the same thing, the same circumstances, same situation. This is a great example where I would encourage you, maybe not necessarily totally physically, but put on a backpack, put some water, granola bars or whatever, walk out of your home, leave your wallet, cell phone back at your house. Do something different. Walk out of your life. Buy a whacked out costume, look like, what is his name? Jimmy Bahama or whatever his name is. Go on a walkabout, put some sandals, some black shades on, a tacky khaki shirt. Just walk away from your life. Step out of your life. Oh, Tommy Bahama, I think that's his name. Step out of there, go to Florida, go out of your life for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. Step out of your day-to-day wash, rinse, repeat repetitive cycles. I speak from experience. I walked away from everything with 4 little envelope boxes with all of my belongings at one point, and I just left the rest for who I left it for. Am I saying for you to do the same? Of course not. That was my journey. Now, I want you, when you walk away, I don't care if you go down to the park, go to Starbucks, go to Tim Hortons, go wherever you go. I want you to sit there, do exactly what we just did, become right here, right now. No cell phone, no gadgets, nothing to keep you in your head, which you have been stuck in your head. Wash, rinse, repeat, the same thing over and over. So now I want you to go sit by the river, do whatever you do. Now I want you to look from the outside, looking back in at your life, including your costumes, including the car you drive, including credit cards, bank accounts, profession, blah, blah, blah. But now it's most important. We strip everything down except your Tommy Bahama costume, looking back in your sandals, back at your life from the outside looking in. Because it's not just your life, it's all the realities that you have bought into, pretty, not pretty, happy, unhappy, painful, elated, tormentuous realities that you bought into, hook, line, and sinker, that you have created, hook, line, and sinker. We can blame mom, we can blame dad, we can blame the government. I don't care who you blame, you bought into it. Hands down, period. That's why you're recreating it day after day after day. Walk away. Look at it from the outside. Now we have our power back. Now let's write on a piece of paper from your backpack. What are you willing, not just wanting, because we could want until there's no wanting left. There's a terminology, want in one hand, poop in the other, and see which one fills up faster. Now, I like to have terminology because it's a real wake-up call. You can keep wanting and wanting, but it's not going to do anything. Over here, when I'm from the outside looking in, but now let's quit the wantings. Now let's start writing down for yourself. What are you willing to let start being different? What are you willing to start doing different to start having different outcomes? Which brings us back to something very simplistic. You know, and I use it around our house as well with chores and all that. You know, it's kind of funny. For a while, I was doing the same thing over and over. And I don't have a problem with chores. I mean, more the merrier. I mean, I'm good with all that. But it occurred to me loud and clear one day. I was like, well, you know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and whoever you're cleaning up with after whatever, you're just supporting them to do the same thing over and over and over. So now we're reaching a point of insanity for me to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome when you're just supporting the behavior by going in and taking care of it day after day after day. So I decided, well, you know what? I know for a fact that if it makes me uncomfortable, not that it does, but if it did, I know it would be up to me to do something about it, because that would be my issue if it made me uncomfortable. So that would be me to take care of. But you ask yourself, okay, this is for everyone in your whole life. You know, is their behavior, is it hurting themselves? Is it hurting anyone else? Yes or no? Then, okay, it's not their issue. It would be mine. So you ask yourself for a moment, what am I doing over and over and over, which is, you know, the literal technical definition of insanity, expecting a different outcome. So if I keep bumping my head, bumping my head, bumping my head, I'm sitting over saying, you know, I really don't want any more lumps in my head as I'm bumping my head. That's just pure insanity. What are you willing to do now? This is part of you personally, whatever your email address was again, taking your power back from looking at it from the outside in. That's how you get clarity. And from that point, you know, we can ask our guides, we can ask our angelic, archangelics, and host realms, our entourage. But if we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, we're literally putting the muffles on the ears and saying, you know, talk to the hand. The ears aren't listening. Now we're doing our part so they can get to work to complement you for long-term beneficial change without blaming everyone else for your unhappiness. Now we have our power back so we can do something about our happiness.
Wow. Thank you, William. That was super.
Yeah, because it's simple, not mental. The universe is simple, not mental.
Thank you. Thank you, William. And thank you all for joining us. Tune into Will's podcast about 2024. Book an appointment. Join us on the event. We have a number of courses that I'll be starting up this year. Lots of really vibrant opportunities to assist yourself to embrace your true presence and being and becoming the joyful being that you are. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And we love you. We honor you. And happy 2024. Namaste.
Namaste.